Hey guys, I'm going to be showing you a basic guide to getting into World of Warcraft. This is for people who are looking to get into World of Warcraft, haven't played World of Warcraft for years or since vanilla. I'll be telling you through the expansions, what classes do what, how to pick what class you want to play, and things like that, basic tips to help you on your journey in this game. So first things first, I'll show you what to do in terms of characters. Okay, so here we have the character selection screen. On the left side you have the races that you can pick, and on the right side you have the classes that you can pick. Some races can't be certain classes, so for instance we're on Dwarf at the moment. Dwarfs can't be Druids. This is because of the lore. If you don't know what lore is, it's like the story behind the game. Everything that happens, all the history is lore, and dwarfs just in the lore aren't druids, so they can't be druids. But apart from that, they can be most other classes. But let's start from the start. Let's start from the beginning. The first kind of race, which has been from the start of the game, are the basic humans and orcs on their respective factions. After humans and orcs, we have dwarfs on the Alliance side, undead on the Horde side, Night Elf on the Alliance side, Tauren on the Horde side, Gnome on the Alliance side, Troll on the Horde side, Draenei on the Alliance side, Blood Elves on the Horde side, Worgen on the Alliance side, and Goblins on the Horde side. At the bottom you can see Pandaren, which are in the middle of both. With Pandaren, they start in their own island, in a continent called Pandaria, and I can't remember, I think it's level 16, it's something around level 16, you get to choose whether you want to be Horde or Alliance. So at the moment Pandaren are the only race that can actually pick which side they want to be on. So you can have Horde Pandaren and you can have Alliance Pandaren. One thing with all of the classes in this game, which sometimes you don't see in MMOs, especially Eastern MMOs, is every single race can be female, even Pandaren. So it really allows you to pick what you want to pick. My main character is a female Night Elf Druid. I just like the way that armour fits on the female Night Elf model. Okay, so let's go into classes. The first class is Warrior. Your basic get in, melee, hit things with a big sword or axe and do as much damage as possible. Paladins, they tank through holy damage, and they can use bubbles and things like that to protect themselves. Hunters are a good starting class. They use bows and guns and can have a pet to help them. They start with a pet and they can collect other pets to use and fight for them. Rogues, you can go into stealth and hide, and then they kind of focus on hiding, jumping out, doing as much damage as possible, and then going back into stealth. Priest is the healer. There is an option to called the Shadow Priest, where you can do where it's pretty much like a ranged DPS. DPS means damage per second, if you didn't already know. But mainly people who play priest play for the healing. Shaman I can't play on human, so I'll turn to a character that can. The shaman uses elements, so fire, water, earth, and they use totems. And the totems that they use can do different things, so some of them will do damage, some of them will slow, and general things to help you when you're fighting. Mage is the general that do as much damage as possible, and again you can have different specializations, which I'll talk to you a bit about later. Warlock I can't play on this class, but okay, Warlock are another class that use a sort of helping pet. Warlocks are like mages, but Warlock use like bleeds and poisons and things like that, and lifesteal. And they use demons to help them. You can use loads of different demons at max level, but you start with this small little imp. Monks are newer to the game. They weren't introduced from the beginning like the warrior, but a couple of years old. But monks, they don't. You can use weapons on them, but they're traditionally like martial arts, so their attacks are very based off like Asian fighting styles and things like that, and their animations are quite smooth and like look quite cool. So Druid, which is what I play, for like my main character, Druids can shapeshift. So in their DPS spec, they turn into like a cat, or like almost like tiger, and fight in that. For their tanking spec, to do as much like to tank all the damage, they turn into a bear form. Restoration, which is like a ranged DPS like mage or warlock, but a bit different, turn into a moonkin form, which is like an owl form, and like a huge owl form that can walk and stuff. And for the restoration druid, the balance druid is the ranged one. I think I said resto accidentally. But the resto druid, or the restoration druid, is the healing spec, where they try to heal and are in their normal form, so you'd play as this normal form. But any spec can turn into different things, so you can turn into a stag form, so you run like faster on land, and if you go into water, you would turn into like this seal form where you can go quicker in water, and if you're in an area that can fly and you go into travel form, you'll turn into a bird where you can fly. So there are two specs left. One of them is the Death Knight. These in lore followed the Lich King, but they're quite an interesting class, and they look quite cool. And rather than all of these, they'll have the background of their character. So the Night Elves, it'll be every Night Elf, no matter what class, unless they're a Demon Hunter or a Death Knight, every Night Elf will have this background. However, if you play as a Death Knight, you'll have this background, so it's quite cool. But you can get loads of different classes that play them. In fact, I think all classes can play them except for Pandaren. Yeah, all races can play Death Knights. And the last one that you can pick is called the Demon Hunter. I can't show you the Demon Hunter here because I've already got one. You can only have one. My hunter is called Arcane. He doesn't look the best at the moment. I can change that, but they can double jump and float down, and they use warglaives, so they're quite cool. The last thing I want to say in terms of character creation is picking alliance or horde. A big part of it is if you have any friends that play the game, what do they play? If they all play horde and you pick alliance, you won't be able to play with them because they are at war with each other. They don't like merge, with the exception of Pandaren. But if you don't have any friends that play this game and you can just pick whatever one you want, it will come. A big reason to choose one over the other is what style do you like, and what races do you like. The orcs are very manly, and the undead, Tauren, trolls, blood elves, goblins, they all have their own sort of style. And the alliance sides, I play alliance, but they're not as, in my opinion, they're not as interesting as the horde. It also depends on what server you play on. Before you even pick a server, I recommend looking at a server list and seeing what has what. Because the server that I play on at the moment is mainly Alliance. There are more Alliance than Horde. It's an Alliance favoured server. So if you pick a Horde on a server which is full of Alliance, there's 1% Horde, you're not going to have much fun. So look at the servers. But also, what building style do you want? Horde are very put spikes on everything, fire, death, and humans are more structured. They're more like actual cities. You can see in the background, they're actual buildings which could be in actual real life. So yeah, that's it for the character creation. Okay, now we're going to go on to the character boosts. When you buy the game and you pay for the expansion, you'll get two, I'm pretty sure, you'll get two leveling boosts. One for level 100 and one for level 110. I used my level 100 one on my mage, and then leveled up to level 110, which is the maximum level at the moment, and I used my level 110 on a warlock, which I don't really play. But again, that's Horde, and I don't really play Horde, so at the time when I boosted that, I didn't know that I wanted to play Alliance. But when you want to boost a character, you need to make sure you don't boost a Death Knight or a Demon Hunter. Demon Hunters start at a really high level, so it'll take you a couple of days to level to 110, if that. And Death Knights start at 50. Well, by the time they finish their starting area, about 59, I think. So there's no point boosting them because you would have already gone through a lot of it. But you need to make sure that when you boost a character, you're going to play it, because I'm really annoyed that I boosted this warlock, because boosts are expensive if you want to buy them in game. If you want to buy them, if you've used the ones that you got and you went, oh, I want to boost another character, it costs a lot of money to boost another character. People are saying that's way too much, and I would have rather boosted a different character or something, like a monk or something, because that would be different to what I normally play. But no, I wasted it on a warlock that I never play, and I got no artifact. I got barely any artifact runes for my, I got practically no artifact traits for my artifact weapon that I'll talk about later. Artifacts. I'll talk about artifacts later. Okay, that's it with the boost. So now I'm going to be talking to you about the the artifact weapons in the current expansion. At the time of making this video, we're about 3 or 4 weeks away from Battle for Azeroth, the new expansion. But in this expansion, we have something called artifact weapons, which are lore weapons relating. They relate to lore. So they'll some way be significant in like the story of this game. And each class have their own order hall, which is where you send your followers on missions and you customize and change and upgrade your artifact weapon. So for the Druid one, you get a teleport where you can teleport to your class order hall. Sorry, I forgot the name of it for a second. And this allows you to, whenever you want, pretty much just come here. But not all classes have like a teleport. Most of the classes that I play do, but the Demon Hunter one, you have to go to the city of Dalaran and then jump off the side and glide down to your order hall, which is quite a cool idea, but it means you have to get to the city of Dalaran every time you want to do anything. But with here, you can just use your Dream Walk, which is the ability to get here, do whatever you want, then use it again, you'll go back to where you were before. So, for the Druids, where you change your artifact weapon is at the top here. Down there is where you come in, over there, and up here is where you customize it. So here you have all the traits and stuff. The reason it's greyed out is because Blizzard, who make this game, have done like a pre-patch. So we're still quite a few weeks away from the actual launch of the new expansion, but this is the getting ready for the new expansion, so they're kind of locked out. But if you start the game now and boost character, you'll still get the artifact weapon, you just won't get many traits. The traits like upgrade it so you do more damage, but you can do a storyline to completely max it out anyway. So one of the things that you can do is you can change the colour of your artifact weapon. The Druid artifact weapon, when you change the appearance, you change the appearance of your shape-shifting form. So you can choose from loads of different ones, and what changes what artifact you use is what spec you do, which is the next section we're going to do. Okay, now we're going to do the specialization. The specializations, each class has at least 2 specializations, and they change the way that your class play. Your class is just a shell, and the specializations kind of fill it out. So as a Druid, I play as Feral because I like doing as much damage as possible, but like physically, so I like hitting things with like your arms. But if you want to be a caster, you can activate Balance, which they cast things and have. Let me bring an example. Okay, so I'm here at the training dummies to kind of show you. So if I turn into the fight form for Balanced Druids, you cast abilities and you do damage through that, and you can cast things. That it's like a mage, but you use different abilities. But you can also use the tank specialization, which is called Guardian, where you turn into a giant bear, again, you can change the appearance of this, and you again try to do as much damage as possible. And I don't really play it. I don't think I've ever played it, but I've heard that it's a very fun spec for doing tanking, but I just don't tank, so I don't really play it. And the last one for druids is restoration. Not all classes have healing and damage, healing and tank specs. Like mages, they only have damage, they don't have healing or tanking. Okay, so resto or restoration druids, they heal things. So if I go to the allied, wait, nope, yeah, if I try to, like, you can heal things, and the main thing that you try to do is heal your friends. So if you're doing PvP, or if you're doing like a dungeon, you would be the person trying to keep everyone alive. So it's quite stressful, but apparently again it's quite fun. Okay, that's it. The last thing I'm going to talk about is add-ons. So this is not what you would normally have when you come into the game. What you normally have is this. This is what you normally have. In fact, you don't normally have this. You can turn that on in the settings if you go to interface action bars, and you can turn on whatever ones you want. But it is quite a good UI. It's not as customizable as I would want. So I use an add-on called LVUI, which you can get. It's updated quite often, and it's very customizable, and you can actually take codes off the internet and copy paste them into your LVUI and use other people's like presets. So if you see a YouTuber who uses LVUI and you like their sets, and you like their UI, you can ask them to put like a link to their code and just copy it into LVUI. You can look up other guides for that. Why do we use add-ons? Because it allows you to be more creative and change the way you like things. If you don't like LVUI, a really good one to have, which is also very popular, if not more popular than LVUI, is called Bartender. What it means that you can do is you can change where everything is. You can just change everything. It's amazing. And I still have it on because sometimes I use it. But you can even change the minimap. A good one for changing the minimap is called Basic Map. If you want something to tell you how much damage you're doing or healing you're doing, a good thing is Details. And it's just things like that. If you want a guide on add-ons, you can watch other videos for that. Okay, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I am very new to this. This is the second day that I'm doing it. So yeah, if you've got any tips, please put them down below. Bye. Have a good day.